All right, everybody, how's it going? We've got ourselves a little bit of action with the Seahawks. And this story has already gone under a change since it was initially announced earlier this morning. Hopefully, the information that we have now is the information in its final form. But basically, we have a player for player swap. It was reported earlier today, to start at the very beginning here, it was reported earlier today that the Seahawks were planning to cut defensive back Ugo Amadi as part of their first wave of roster reductions. Now, teams have to trim their rosters down to 85 players by tomorrow, so we had to cut, I believe, 5 players. Maybe it's 4. I'm not sure if we were up to the 90, but you have to get down to 85. Normally, the first trim is players who are very obviously not NFL caliber, right? You typically have a collection of guys who are very obviously not good enough to be in the NFL, and the decisions make themselves. Like, for instance, the guy who missed the tackle on the game winning touchdown in the preseason game, Turner Valentine. People like him are usually the guys who get cut, but we got a report that Amadi was going to be part of those first cuts. And Amadi's a guy who's actually played a lot over the last 2 years. And he even has played well at times. So this was surprising. But I liked it. I don't think Amadi played well last year. He played well in 2020, but in 2021, I thought he took a big step back, a lot of penalties. And at the end of the day, it was very unlikely Amadi was going to be sticking around in 2023. So in my mind, you want to get rid of him now and give other guys the opportunity to compete for the nickel corner spot. Guys who are going to be here in the future, or at the very least have a chance to be here in the future. So when I got this report, I was a little surprised, but it kind of makes sense. Amadi was running with the third team in the preseason game, so clearly we didn't think much of him. We were ready to move on. Also, getting Amadi off the team saves you about $2.5 million, because as much as he did not play very well last year, he played a lot, and playing a lot gets you a pay bump according to the NFL performance. They have a program where rookies can earn extra money if they perform at a certain level. Amadi played enough snaps last year to qualify for that, the PPE bonus, even though he didn't play great. So you save extra money letting Amadi go, and while that doesn't matter so much for this year, it does matter for next year because cap space will roll over. So when I got this report, I was actually pretty excited. I wanted to see what we were going to do at nickel. Obviously, Coleman hasn't been too impressive yet, but there are other guys on this team who could take that job. But then, about an hour later, the story morphed a little bit. Instead of us releasing or waiving or cutting Ugo Amadi, we're actually going to go get something for him. So, per a few minutes ago, the Eagles are sending JJ Arcega Whiteside to the Seahawks for Ugo Amadi. So instead of just letting him go and saving the $2.5 million, we still save the $2.5 million, and we take on a little bit of salary from Arcega Whiteside, not a significant amount. And again, in a year like this, the cap space, it matters a little because of the rollover, but it doesn't matter as much as it usually does. So it's not really about the money, although $2.5 million helps. It's about the fact that you're moving on from a guy that clearly you are done with, and you are picking up a player who, well, okay. Let's talk about Arcega Whiteside for a second here. Because even though we are acquiring him, to me, he's not really the most interesting part of this trade. But nevertheless, we should spend a minute on this one. So Arcega Whiteside, nice college career. He played for Stanford. Had 1,000 yards and 14 touchdowns his final year there in 2018. The year before, he had almost 800 yards and 9 touchdowns. Big guy, 6'3", 222 pounds. Not quite Metcalf size, but pretty close. He's like an inch shorter. He was actually drafted ahead of Metcalf in that draft. Also drafted ahead of guys like Terry McLaurin and Deontay Johnson. And he has become one of the most notable second-round busts in recent memory. If you take a look at what he's done for the Eagles since he was drafted, well, 16 career catches in 3 years. He's been mostly healthy. He's been able to play in most of the games that he's had the opportunity to appear in his career. One touchdown, 290 yards. Yeah, this guy has been a big disappointment in the NFL so far. There's no doubt about it. Now, I don't believe that Arcega Whiteside stands much of a chance to make the team, despite the fact that we just traded for him. But we were going to release Amadi anyway, so there's certainly nothing wrong with going to get another player instead of just releasing him. You're not losing anything. Arcega Whiteside, what he provides is a camp body. And I think that's mainly why you do this. You look at this team right now, Swain injured, Goodwin injured, Eskridge injured. We don't want to use Lockett or Metcalf in the preseason, I'm sure, for obvious reasons. We already know what those guys can do anyway. I'm sure they're going to play a little, but I'm not expecting a lot. So receiver, it's not like we're hurting for guys that we want to see play, but we need somebody who can be out there in case someone else gets hurt. So that's all J.J. Arcega-Whiteside is to me. He's just a guy to be there in training camp and preseason because you've got injuries there. You've got UDFAs. You've got 7th-round picks out there. That game against Pittsburgh, like I said, none of our top 5 receivers or probable top 5 receivers were playing. And that may be the case against the Bears and Cowboys as well. So if somebody else gets hurt, then you're going to start looking at like, oh, we got to put Noah Fant at receiver. We got to put Travis Homer at receiver. We got to start scraping the bottom of the barrel. Maybe we don't want to do that. So that part of it is fine. I'm not saying Arcega Whiteside's going to be good. I'm not saying he's going to make the team. I don't think he will. But he'll have a chance. He'll have the opportunity to compete for that roster spot. Sometimes players just need a change of scenery. Hey, he was a 2nd-round pick. He has ability. He has talent. It just hasn't worked at all in the NFL so far. But more than likely, I think this is just something to make sure that we can at least field a full fleet of receivers for the remainder of the preseason. And if these injuries linger into the regular season, maybe he sticks around for a week or two. The interesting part of this swap for me is the Ugo Amadi part, because now we need to figure out what's going on at nickel corner, right? Because Justin Coleman has, I don't want to say he's definitely playing bad in camp, but I haven't heard anything about him in camp. And he has not played well for a couple years now, and he didn't play very well in admittedly limited snaps against the Steelers. So I'm looking at that, and I'm thinking to myself, okay, Kobe Bryant got to play some nickel in camp and the preseason game. Is he going to be the nickel guy going forward? That's pretty appealing. I like that. That's a great way to get him on the field while making sure you have Artie Burns and Sidney Jones out there starting outside. Those are your veterans. Those are the guys who are probably your 2 best guys right now. Marquise Blair has moved back to safety, so you don't want to put him back at nickel unless you absolutely have to. Probably not that. But you got Trey Brown working his way back here, and one of the benefits of Trey Brown, one of the reasons why you drafted him, was he was very versatile. A great outside corner, inside corner, can play zone, can play man. Maybe we made this trade to clear the deck for him. Maybe there's even something else in the works here with another player on this team that I'm not even really thinking about right now playing some nickel cornerback, because that's an important position in any defense, but this one especially, I would say. You play a lot of nickel in the NFL. So if it's not going to be Amadi, unless it's Coleman, which right now I don't feel good about because I haven't seen any reason to believe he's going to have a comeback, who's it going to be? And that's about all I can say about this one. Interesting move. I think it's a good move. Ugo, he just didn't develop the way I wanted him to develop last year. Like I said, he was one of our better players on defense in 2020. 2021, too many penalties, not enough development. And at the end of the day, even if he has a comeback year, are you really going to re-sign him in 2023? Aren't you going to be looking to get younger, move on? You've got so many young, interesting defensive backs on this team. So I'm happy to move on there. Hoping that Kobe or Trey Brown ends up being the guy at nickel. Those guys are going to be on rookie deals for a little while. Those guys are going to be cheap for a while. So that's obviously the ideal. We save a little bit of money. So yeah, I'm happy with the decision. I think it's the right thing to do. I don't think Arcega Whiteside has a future on this roster. I think he's just here to basically be a camp body and a preseason body. Maybe he slips through waivers after the final cuts and you get to put him on your practice squad because he is a big body and he does have some ability. That's probably a little more appealing to have on your practice squad than somebody who just doesn't have any of those things, like a Greg Island, right? But either way, it doesn't really matter to me. I don't feel any attachment to Arcega Whiteside. I'm not married to him needing to prove himself of value on this team. I'm just happy that we've cleared the deck at nickel for hopefully one of these young guys to take it. All right, let me know what you guys think down below. I'm going to get out of here. Peace out. Go Hawks. I will be streaming on Twitch later tonight. We're going to be doing some Serious Sam 2, I think. And late at night, sometime around 10:30, maybe 11, we're going to be doing the after show, me and Snacks, for the series finale of Better Call Saul. So if you're interested in stuff like that, make sure you're around. And yeah, go Hawks.